I'll call this January 7th, 2026 Historic Architecture Review Committee meeting to order. I think we have a quorum here today, even though we're too short. Hopefully, maybe they'll be able to join us. Let's see, we have on the agenda here officer elections to start off the new year. We'll hear first. Seems like we always start with the election of chairman. Do I have any comments from the board for chairman for the next year, for this year, 2026? Any nominations?
No.
I'll do it again if
Okay,
you guys are
I would
okay
like-
with
yeah, I
that, but
would
that's
be-
it.
Yes,
I hear a motion?
yes, I move to re-elect you as the chairman.
All right. I guess I'm in favor, I'll accept. So.
Okay.
Caleb, that work for you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, election of vice chairman. Carolyn has done that in the past couple of years.
Yes, I certainly
She's
move to.
she's not here, but
Can we elect her?
I think we can.
Okay, well, I move to re-elect Carolyn Keene as well.
I'll second that.
Okay.
You good with that, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, sure.
All right. And our secretary, this is going to be pretty easy too, I think.
Okay, is that Mr.
I'm holding my breath.
That's right.
Well, I move to re-elect you as well, Caleb.
Easiest thing on the agenda. I agree with that too, Mr. Williams.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations, Caleb.
Yes,
Thanks for joining us again.
indeed.
All right.
He's very efficient.
Moving on, that's right.
Yes.
Let's see, any requests to withdraw a table?
No, not today.
Okay, any citizen comments? I don't think so. All right, let's get straight to it here. New business. The placement of 2 sheds at 17276 Jolly Circle.
Okay.
And do you want to start that off,
Yeah,
Caleb?
I'll do a brief overview of the staff report here. The subject property here is identified as tax parcel 3801042C, which currently contains a single-family dwelling and a privacy fence that was constructed in 2016. In October of 2025, the code enforcement officer issued a zoning violation for placement of 2 sheds without permits. Subsequently, the applicant did come to the office and speak to staff, and we advised them of the requirement to seek approval from this committee prior to submitting for zoning permits. This property may look familiar to some of y'all. The application to construct this single-family dwelling along with the neighbor there at 17264 came before this committee in 2016 and was approved. That's why they're there. This particular application is for the placement of 2 prefabricated sheds. The first is a 10 by 16 foot barn style shed, 12 feet in height with natural wood siding and a barn red metal roof. The second is a 10 by 12 foot shed, 10 feet in height, painted light blue with a darker blue metal roof. The rear of the property does include some environmental features such as floodplain and resource protection area that's connected to the Great Swamp right over here. And the property is located within the Courthouse Historic Overlay District. However, the structures on the property are not listed on the National Register of Historic Places and are not within a National Register district. As y'all are probably familiar, Section 6-3000 of the zoning ordinance establishes these overlay districts and includes performance criteria for land use and development. Unlike the St. Luke's Historic District, which has design guidelines, the Courthouse District does not. So any building, structure, sign, improvement has to come before this committee in this particular overlay district. In Section 6-2008, it lists certain criteria that you all should take into consideration, listed 1 through 9 there on page 2 of the staff report, that you all have to take into consideration as you make your decisions and determinations. The Courthouse Overlay District here encompasses 2 entities listed on the National Register, this courthouse complex and Boykins Tavern, which is right next door. And the subject property is located approximately 1,100 feet from Boykins Tavern, which is the closest structure to it. And it's visually separated by the Great Swamp and other single-family dwellings on Jolly Circle. And the sheds do contain nature blending and earth tones that are complementary to the surrounding neighborhood and all of the nature that surrounds them. So one other thing I will mention that's not on here, I passed this out. I showed Michael as well before the meeting here. This is the survey, this is the as-built survey from back in 2016, showing the house where it's placed. And as you can see, that highlighted green line is the 100-foot RPA. So if you recall, Michael, when you came into the office, you spoke to me and Shawnee. Shawnee's our environmental planner in community development. And she mentioned, I walked this application through with her. She's out on a site visit right now, otherwise she would be here to kind of help me through this. But basically the red shed that is behind the fence is currently sort of diagonally tilted. And we believe that because the RPA line pretty much touches the back of the house and sort of catty corners out there, that she's of the opinion that where it currently sits diagonal like that, it is likely within that RPA feature. She said one way to get that out of the RPA feature is just to turn that red shed perpendicular with the fence. That would just, doing some rough measurements, that would get that out of the RPA.
But we don't know, we don't have a survey, right?
We don't know. We don't have a survey of where that shed is placed. We're just basing that off of some visual.
Our visual is where the fence line
measurements,
is. The fence
yes.
line is not on this exhibit that you just passed out.
Correct. The house, the front of the porch is right against the 60-foot setback off of Jolly Circle. And so the house is measuring 25 feet. The house is measuring 25 feet wide, and we're thinking the fence goes, what, about halfway through it or something close to that?
Which side? The front side? Back
Yeah,
side?
the front of the house.
On the side of the house.
Side of the
Close
house.
to the front of the house.
Yes.
It's close to the front, so maybe 5 feet or so back into the house. So
What are your colors on your exhibit up there in the upper?
so yeah, so
What is that supposed to represent?
that big swath of colors, the blue here, is wetlands or floodplain. I'm sorry, this is floodplain. This is a potential border of the wetlands, and then this is that 100-foot RPA buffer, but it's just a guess.
So that doesn't match with,
It doesn't, but we have to go with what's on here as the survey.
and so that's very misleading.
Yeah.
One of these is.
Yeah, that one is. That one is. This one is stamped by a surveyor. This is the one we have to go with in our office as we review these types of applications. That's from our GIS system, and our GIS folks just put that on a lot of the. It is measured at 100 foot. That is just a approximate distance off of the edge of wetlands based off of GIS for what wetlands in the Chesapeake Bay Preservation Area. So if you go outside the Chesapeake Bay, you look at our GIS map, you won't see that green feature. But as far as the RPA goes, that line on here that I've highlighted in green, that's the actual line. So all that to say, staff is recommending approval, but we need to stay out of that RPA, and we would recommend just making that red shed parallel, I guess, with the fence. To get it out of the RPA. Yeah. That's my presentation. Michael, Walsh, and Sarah, right, are here to represent the
So
application.
while staff recommends that, that's not what's on our application, it's a recommendation.
Correct, yes.
Addition that you guys have made.
Correct. I had that conversation with Shawnee yesterday.
All right. Durwood, so bringing you up to speed, he's given us this as an RPA.
Right.
But the actual, if you look at that up there, the fence line is really right here, right? And the shed is somewhere here, and then the other one's in the front. So this is, Caleb was just saying, recommending that, should we recommend to keep this here, that it rotate to make sure that it's not in the RPA, since nobody's really confident? There is no there's no survey to say whether it is or isn't yet. That's just sort of where we've left off. We haven't really started any discussion.
I will say, I mean, because they're gonna have to submit for the zoning permit an accessory structure application, just like anywhere else, pending y'all's approval. And Shawnee will take a look at that application, we'll take a look at the site plan. So, I mean, it's right down the road. I mean, I'm sure she'd be willing to walk out there and just walk the edge
For
of the-
zoning permit, I mean, are you requiring them to have a survey?
No, not for accessory structures.
Okay, so you're not requiring it for us, and you're not requiring it for zoning?
Correct.
Looking at this, it looks like if they put it to be between the fence and make sure it's not past the back of the house, it would be at the up here.
Correct.
So, yeah, there's several parts of this, but, okay, so
That's one item.
would you like to come forward and
That's fine.
provide some comments?
Yeah. So, Michael Wells, how y'all doing?
Okay.
And talking to Caleb when this whole problem occurred, we had friends tell us, when you do a shed like that, there's no building permit and everything. And
As long as there's no foundation.
as long as there was no foundation, we figured that was perfectly fine, brought to attention they were in the wrong, so. But when we did do this, I have that piece of paper with my building, when they built the house, I have that paper, and I was told nothing 60 feet from Jolly Circle, which from that area. So the first shed that you seen in blue, when I had them deliver it, I made sure it didn't go past my front step. That's where the line is. So it's not past the front step. My grandma passed away recently back in March of last year, and she gave me this shed you see with the red. It was something she had, and she gave it to us because she uses like a little hangout spot for us to hang out, football games, anything we wanted to do with the family. So she gifted that to me, and when I brought it in, it's at an angle, because the truck came in, he just could not reach all the way, and I said, well, just put it this way so it's easier for me to rent a shed puller, and I can push it to the way I want. Because to me, it doesn't look right in my backyard at an angle at all, so I wanted to put it straight. It just works better straight. So that's why it's at an angle. If it's turned, it will be on the RPA, because that's what I was looking at.
So, and thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
We've got a couple things that are stirring up in my brain at the moment, and I'm just going to sort of say it out loud. We're not here to affect your zoning permit so much into how you orient that thing.
Mhm.
We're here for the historic architecture review component of this.
Okay.
So we can discuss about an angle, but that's not really why we're here. We're here, is this compatible?
Right.
Does it meet with the guidelines of the district? That kind of thing.
And
You
also,
could argue that out, the angle of it with zoning,
yeah,
but that's
and,
not really why we're here.
yeah, and then because I heard it's about the color. So the first shed, we tried to match it with the house. We actually was on hold for 2 years for that shed to even have that color, so we waited. And then also, my grandma who gave me that shed, I was like, it's a barn red. I'm pretty sure it would fit with the thing. That's why that's probably okay with it.
It's in the backyard, so I don't care.
Yeah, and it's in the backyard.
I cared what the color was.
Well, I have just one more comment. I mean, I went down the road too, just to make sure briefly before we came in here. I think I saw you down there too. Everybody has a shed or a garage
Mhm.
that can be seen from the road.
Mhm.
Not just Jolly Circle Road, but the main road. So, in my mind, I mean, we've sort of, I don't know how long this goes back, Caleb, to, when this board allowed these things, but they all have them. So for somebody to throw a red flag just recently on their property, it concerns me a little bit. The precedent has been set down the entire street. And I don't know if you had a chance to go to either Derwin or Mr. Williams, but everybody has one. They're not all compatible with the houses. Yours is. So I'll just sort of say that, but I do want to open up the discussion for you guys to chat a little bit if you have some questions for them. Again, we're not here to affect the zoning other than they need us to approve that they have the sheds. Basically, the colors, architecture features.
Correct. Well, one of the items that y'all are to take into consideration is general design, scale, and arrangement.
Right.
So You do have a say as to whether or not, like, you want it behind the fence or in
That's-
front of the
that's
fence.
true.
You-
He's the only one that's got a fence.
Correct. What you do not have the say in is putting in an RPA. If he wanted to put it clearly in the backyard, way in the
But
back.
that's not architecture, that's not HARC. That's still zoning, that's part of zoning. So
Correct.
let's don't muddy these up. We're here for HARC, Historic Architecture Review Committee. So, I mean, that throws it out immediately. If you're already killed and dead in the water, we don't need to see it. So, we're here for the architectural features, whether it meets anything in that street, anything you guys want to do in the future, whether it's even relevant. So, I mean, that's part of the discussion we have here. The fact that he's got a fence that divides up two of them is fantastic. It's more than everybody else does up and down that street. The blue one sits out there, it says, "Look at me," but so do all the other ones. But one of the facts is it looks better than the rest of them.
It matches the house, it's very nice.
So it does say, "Look at me."
The only way he was allowed to have it.
That's my opinion, that's why there's four of us up there, so. That being said, I'll let you guys.
Yes, no, I agree
Talk.
with that completely. And as far as we're concerned, it doesn't matter that the red one is at an angle. You said you can move it if,
Yes.
but it's really,
The angle is not my, I don't
it
bother
has
me.
really, no.
It is behind the fence. Again, most of them on that street, or maybe there is one more fence. But that other one is out front of the fence. It's right next, you can see it up there on the screen.
Yeah, our
The
neighbors,
ones that look like our house, they have a fence as well, but
Yeah.
they're shut
So-
in front of it.
and they got a little plastic one from Lowe's, we actually took time and consideration to matching it best we could.
Absolutely, it looks fine.
I don't think it's any more incompatible than anything else that's on that road.
No.
You had made comment about the red bond,
Yes, sir.
and she said something about the color. I didn't catch what you said.
The only reason I don't like the color red. So the only reason I don't care is 'cause it's in the backyard and you can't see it. If it was in the front yard, he would have had a little bit more
We would
push from
have,
me.
designed it.
I would have made him paint it.
Well, the images that are in the packet are from Jolly Circle. They're not from Courthouse Highway,
Right,
which is even more of a buffer from the main road.
right.
And you can see that on the bottom of your image there. I mean, it's considerable distance off the highway. Mr. Williams, I know you sometimes have some different opinions on some of this. Do you have anything to weigh in on here?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a requirement from this board, but I would like to maybe take a look by the Yeoman for the street, if the red bond was painted to match the house. But I'm not saying that's a requirement, I'm just saying this is my opinion. That way.
Make it
the house
uniform.
will- And the house will always blend in.
Yes,
the
sir.
same color.
When you say the red barn, you mean this, both the siding and the roof?
Well, the roof on the red barn is the next one.
Here, your one's in color.
I know, I think what I did.
Here's a black and
I
white
made
picture.
copies.
Sorry.
And I put the wrong ones in the folder.
Because the side is not red. It's
No,
just-
the side's
it's
a
just-
natural
Yeah,
wood.
and mostly it's concealed by the fence.
It's
It will
concealed by
be
the
almost
fence.
all concealed by the fence if zoning makes them rotated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
because in front of it is,
And that one's sentimental, so that's his name.
yeah.
Now, you may have a different opinion.
Yes.
Okay.
She liked that thing. I'm not from the country, so I don't love those trees.
You know, if it's parallel to the fence, you're gonna see the front of the
That's right.
barn, and you're not gonna hardly see the red roof from not that that's off-putting for me, but I'm
Yeah.
from Wisconsin, we like red roofs.
It just looks
I like the
it-
coastal look.
We're very farm.
It's up to me when we get to the beach, but y'all have better school systems.
From the picture. and-
Better weather than from where I'm from too, that's why I love Virginia.
So I don't,
January with 70
you don't
degrees.
have the ability to zoom.
Yeah.
Do you have this exhibit? It's got a pretty prolific property with a massive red roof on it, according to the site plan. So I don't want to dismiss it. I mean,
That one?
there's a precedence, it
Oh,
appears,
that's our, all the way at the end.
Right,
That's a
understood.
pretty large shed.
but on that street, and that's what we were talking about, is the architectural significance of the street, where it is in the overall courthouse complex, et cetera, so.
We don't wanna cause problems to our neighbors, cause this wasn't like enough for us.
No, but while you're not dropped in, yeah, that red barn's not on this, so, your red barn is not on this.
No,
Mm.
No, this is an image from 2021.
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
did this.
That
Um,
barn is still there, yes. He's,
So we,
I think that one is there.
we've talked about this a little bit, and we can make multiple motions here if we think that's necessary.
And like you said, there was, I think in 2015 or 16, there was one that, I think the red shed, red barn was built on the old Crocker property. And then, am I correct that on the Turner property, another building was put up? Permit was issued on that. So that's been two buildings that have been put up in that since y'all put, you had your house put.
yeah, there was no children on our street, and now there's a few of them, so all of us need more space. So sheds are coming up everywhere.
I'd like a motion to approve the sheds on the property with the understanding that the red roofed shed meets the zoning guidelines per county's requirements.
I move that the sheds meet the requirements. That's nothing on the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay.
I'll say.
All right, that's where we are. So we approved what they've done with what we can do. So it's only needs to discuss.
Yes.
I would hope that they would verify before making the move
Mhm.
and change the angle of it,
Yes,
since
we
they've
do.
spent quite a bit of time placing it there.
Yep.
Not just, well, it feels good.
I feel like that's what's going to happen.
I think they need to verify that. I would not go by this.
Yeah, no, we'll coordinate with you.
In
and
2016.
visit and Make sure it's right.
Not only that,
Because I have
RPA's,
more questions there anyways, because I would eventually like a deck.
well, not only that, but
Okay, yeah, she's the one to talk to.
RPA's, you probably know, shift over time. And this exhibit is now 10 years old.
Mhm.
It could be closer to the street, but it could be back in the middle of the yard.
Yeah, with site plans, the RPA shifts every 5 years. If it's on the plat, they're good for the life of the plat. So, and I think the plat on this is much older than the house that is put on it.
Thank you guys for making it look as good as you can.
We
You know, it's a shed, so
We understand we're on the main road, so we try to do the best we can.
Have your little
Yeah.
feet.
I understand. I'm glad you were able to salvage the red roof shed for
Yeah.
some longevity and use for the
Yes, sir.
family, so. I don't think, so we closed that up. I don't think there's anything else on the new business. Is that correct, Caleb?
No, there's no other applications.
All right. We thank you guys for that. I did want to bring something else up, Caleb, if we can. I don't know if that goes under announcements or just,
Another new
Chatter?
business item, yeah.
well, it does, and I think, Derwin and I may have talked about this, and maybe it concerns me more than anything. So when I look at this exhibit, back to your,
Let me bring that up.
there were, and I can't remember how long ago Derwin and I were on this board when we discussed the historic guidelines, or the historic district surrounding St. Luke's and Ben's Grant, and where the new hospital sits, and that, but, and we removed, and I'm not sure you were around with the county, but staff went down the path of removing a certain area from the St. Luke's zone, so that everything at Ben's Grant, the hospital and everything didn't look Gothic like St. Luke's Church. And that made sense. I mean, it ruffled some feathers, but it certainly made sense. And everything out there now doesn't look like, it still is compatible, but it doesn't look like that. So this little area that Jolly Rose sits in, do you have the ability to give us some history and insight on why that's been added in there? What is left there that creates that district with such sensitivity to the rest of the courthouse?
I can do some research, ask a few people. My suspicion is that it is an entrance corridor to buildings and structures on the National Register of Historic Places, i.e. this building and the Boykins Tavern. I think it's to create a buffer zone, an approach buffer zone, that as you come into this historic area, you're not hit with modern-looking, non-compatible, visually speaking, structures and land uses and things like that. I think that's the purpose. I don't know for certain, but I can do some digging and get back to y'all.
I mean, it doesn't really do that on the other end of the highway, but, so, yeah, if I think, sort of curious, I know I am, why it's sort of still there.
Me too.
I'm sure everybody that lives through there is. I mean, we haven't seen anything come through that zone yet that said, hey, a developer's coming through, is gonna raise everybody's houses and, there's a push to make things look different. Why is it still there? It makes sense for the school, and some of the other properties, and we've addressed those over the years, and the church. But that little stretch,
Yes, I'll do some research. I will send it out to y'all. If y'all want to have a discussion about the boundary line, of the historic district, there's a process laid out about how to change that. One of those ways it can start here. This committee can draft a resolution, send it on to the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors to amend those district boundaries, and I can include that research.
yeah, I don't know how it actually played out last time. Derwood, maybe you remember, but I know Beverly Walkup was involved. I'm sure Amy was still around back then, but I know Beverly sort of led that charge.
Yeah, she was in town.
But, okay.
I think
Yeah, and if we need to call a meeting to discuss that topic specifically, I'll work with you to do that.
I don't want to take it out if it's still relevant. I just don't know what the relevance is, and I don't,
Gotcha.
And if you were to change the line, I would suggest following this swamp.
Right, that's, yeah, agreed. Okay.
I'll let y'all know.
Let's see, I don't have any other announcements. Does anybody else have any comments for Caleb or the rest of us?
I've said it before, and I'm probably a broken record at this point. I think I mentioned it last year, but and we're anticipating some activity in the St. Luke's district up there around where the old golf course used to be and where the old school used to be. So you'll have another meeting this year, I'm sure, at some point.
Sure we get our packets in time.
Yeah.
That'll probably be a juicy one.
They'll
What
be
happened
thick.
was, I got this,
Mhm.
and I hadn't got the package.
Oh, from my
And so I
email.
made copies of this, so I was getting the word that I wouldn't have time to review. And then when I took it up and started looking, I mixed these copy pages all mixed up, so I made a mistake and put the copy in the file instead of the original. That's why I didn't have the color copy.
That's all right.
I got a color copy in the car.
We just thought it was because you didn't want to be the chairman or vice chairman.
Well, I wanted to get that behind me. So I figured it wasn't here.
All right. We're adjourned. Thank you, guys.